Hi everyone, this video is a book review about a book that I found while I was going on a little adventure in the library. And the title of this book is called Money Hacks. 275 plus ways to decrease spending, increase savings, and make your money work for you. And it was written by Lisa Rowan. Now, the reason that I selected this book is because my goal next year is to go on a new financial journey. I really want to go hardcore on healing my finances as well as my body. This year, I was trying very hard to work on my finances, but there was just a lot going on this year. Like, I moved from Hawaii back to St. Louis. I was sleeping on a mattress for like 3 months at somebody's house before I got this apartment, working full time and just trying to fix my life. And now that I'm mostly settled, I feel that I can now focus on healing my finances, and any sound advice will be beneficial for me on this financial journey. And hopefully you too will get some tips from this book as well. I am dressed for December because now is December, is the holiday season. I have my little Santa hat. I also have my little reading buddy who is an elf. I also created some, holiday displays at my job, and pretty soon at the end of the month, I'm going to be doing my, my annual Kwanzaa and Nguzo Saba talk for 7 days. So look forward to that for the rest of the month. Holiday stories, other stories that'll help you for next year, and also Kwanzaa related books. And also, if you hear any beeping in the background, it is just my smoke detector. It is literally getting on my nerves. I wish I could change the battery, but I cannot because I'm too short. I cannot reach it. I need a tall person to come here and change it because I've tried standing on chairs and books and I can't reach it. It's too high. So please ignore or disregard the noise in the background. So before I get started on my personal book review, let me share a little information with you about the author, Lisa Rowan. So Lisa Rowan, she is a writer and editor based in St. Petersburg, Florida. She is a staff writer at Forbes Advisor, where she covers consumer finance. She was previously the 2 cents personal finance writer at Lifehacker, as a senior writer and on-air analyst at The Penny Hoarder, which I really love The Penny Hoarder. It's a very good blog. She covered the grocery and retail industries, consumer affairs and features, and co-wrote The American Nightmare, a 4-part series on the lingering effects of the foreclosure crisis of 2007. In 2018, Lisa launched a weekly advice column that was syndicated by the Tampa Bay Times. She is a recipient of the 2019 Creative Pinellas Emerging Artist Grant for Literature. She also co-hosts Pop Fashion, a top-rated weekly podcast about the business of fashion and culture. A former full-time freelance writer and vintage shop owner, she is well-versed in the gig economy and the small business landscape. Lisa is a graduate of the University of Maryland and Georgetown University. Her work has appeared in Retail Dive, Glossy, The Washington Post, Family Circle, City Lab, and the Washington City Paper, among others. Now, Lisa, or Miss Rowan, she also has services. So I guess if you need her services, like for editing and different things, you can contact her there. I'm also going to post the link for her book so you can order from the link that she has, because I'm pretty sure it's going to give her the money instead of like some other third party. So I will put all of that in the description box for you. What else? Yeah, I'm going to put that in there. I'm also going to put in the description box some materials that I'm going to be showing you in relation to the financial journey that I'm going on. Some materials that I'm using to help me, some Etsy shops, and other things. So with this book was published, it says Simon & Schuster, but Adams Media in 2020, so it is relatively new. I liked it because it was easy to navigate and read. You could just turn to a hack. You could go in any order. She has it divided in 6 chapters, and the 6 chapters are: Chapter 1, Curb Mindless Spending. Chapter 2, Be a Savvy Saver. Chapter 3, Get Debt-Free. Chapter 6, Make More Money. Chapter 5, Plan for the Future. And Chapter 6, Protect Your Money. Now, I couldn't write down everything. I couldn't write down certain chapters of this hack book because number one, I'm not a homeowner, I'm a renter, so some of the things do not relate to me for right now during this current time. Also, there were things that I honestly didn't understand because I'm not well versed on them. Anything with investments or stocks and bonds and all of that, I'm not very familiar with those things, so I'm not going to be discussing those things in the video. I would just leave that for the book. That way, if you are into those types of financial areas, then they may help you as well. I have written down some of the hacks that stood out to me, and I'm going to also be sharing some of my personal financial stories, most of them ending in disaster. So, the first chapter, Chapter 1, which is Curb Mindless Spending, I wrote down maybe over 4 hacks. So the first hack is avoid the spending trap. And she discusses that we have to find the spending patterns in our finances, in our budget and credit card transactions. Some of the questions are: do you pick up breakfast sandwiches on your way to work? Are your bar tabs all about from happy hours? Do you keep picking up the bill for lunch with friends? And it's hard to avoid spending traps when you have no idea what they are. Now, you think that this would be common sense, but most of the times we don't do things that are common sense. We might be very brilliant people, but sometimes we just don't do the basic stuff. Not because we don't know it's there, but sometimes we just get lazy, we get distracted, we don't have the energy to do these things. It seems like too much to do. I don't feel like putting in the work. But that is one of the biggest benefits you can do for your finances is figuring out where your money goes. Me, I used to in the past have a spending binder, and I would literally write week by week. I was so organized, and then I stopped for some reason. I would write like, this is how much I spent on food this week, and I had them in categories. I made little charts. It was all hand-drawn. Now I don't really have time for that. Now I'm just using an app on my computer, not my phone, my computer, because I want it to feel like I'm doing something professional work. So I downloaded on my computer this app called Spend Tracker. I want to do an upgrade like for $3.99 so I can download it into Excel sheets. But Spend Tracker, I have different categories for my money. I will write or type at the end of the day after looking at all of my receipts what I spent. And then Spend Tracker makes a little graph. It has a pie chart, and it has a line graph, I guess that's what it's called, to show what I'm spending. Sometimes I will be spending stuff on the dumbest things, and I'm like, what was I thinking? When you write it down, most of the time you can guilt trip yourself and make yourself feel like a loser when you recklessly spend. There was one time I was spending money on just random food, but why? Why was I doing that? Right now, one expense I want to get rid of is my storage. And the only reason I can't get rid of it is because I still have stuff in there. So my goal is to get all my stuff out and stop paying these $39. And that's $39 I could keep for myself. So find out what's burning your money. It might be a subscription. It might be like your kids borrowing money. It might be something you really don't need. Just get rid of it. The next goal is to make a financial bucket list. And how you do that, she says, rather than make an extensive budget spreadsheet with lines for each and every way you've ever spent money, break your budget into 3 buckets. Essentials, which is 50%, savings buckets, which is 20%, everything else bucket, which is 30%. Your budget will look like this. First, plan the essentials. 50% of your budget should go to needs. So that's like your rent, your car, the big expenses. Next, save a little. Any money you put in your savings account goes into this bucket. So it's just like, it should add up to about 20%. And then everything else, if it's not essential, if it's not helping you save, if it's not helping you get out of debt, then it goes into everything else. So some of these things will be your gym membership, your holiday gifts, your concert tickets, all of that jazz. Now, how I have started doing it, because I have been beginning to watch these cash stuffing YouTube channels, and I've become obsessed, absolutely obsessed with them. What I'm doing now is I'm waiting on my 3rd budget binder. This budget binder is for savings challenges, only savings challenges. I put in the little inserts and I save. And my goal is to, every month when I fill it, I put it in an envelope for the month, and I do this for a long time and, funnel it to whatever savings account. This I got from Glamorosa, the binder and the little cards. So I'm going to post a link to that too. This binder I got off of Amazon. It is sparkly and pink. It's sparkly and purple. And it comes with, it's from Soul Mama, that's what it is. And it comes with its own little, well, I put this there, but hold on. How did it come? No, it comes with its own little writing. I just added some stickers from Glamorosa. And this is my major expenses and other things. It goes in this binder. That's how I'm going to divide it. The 3rd binder that is coming is one that I will use for every day. Like, these will be just stay here. The other one I will take with me and use it like transactionally. So that's one method that you can use. The next hack is to carry big bills. She says that when you have smaller bills, or researchers say that when you carry smaller bills, you're more likely to spend it. Whereas when you carry a large bill like a 20 or 50, you don't want to spend it. Now just imagine you have, like, I have all of these ones. You have like 20 ones and you give $1 to the vending machine. You don't feel anything because it's just $1. Even though if they were all combined, it would be a crisp $20 bill. So you feel like you're losing nothing where you're actually losing an entire dollar. Now you have $19. What I do with my loose change is when I get done with my spending of cash, I put them all in their individual jars. So this jar I actually got out of a little free plant box. There was a plant in it, and I took it out, and I'm putting pennies. I have one for quarters, which I use for laundry. This, I guess, used to be a Bath and Body Works candle, and I went to the dollar store to get matching candles. So I'm burning a candle right now just so I can have one for dimes and nickels. Like, I know it's kind of crazy. But put all of your spare change in there and just let it grow. When I was 7 years old, I said, I'm going to save for college, Mommy. Because I thought college was, I thought you could just pay for it like $1,000 and that'd be it. So I saved my coins from age 7 to 13, and I didn't touch it. And when I cashed it in, I had $1,001 from ages 7 to 13 of like pennies and nickels and all of that. I had $1,001. And I want to get to that type of dedication again. The next money hack, which is the last one I have for chapter 1, is recalculate prices as hours of work. So, for example, say you take a spin around Target, how long would you have to work to pay for the entire cart? If that new book costs $25 and you make $18 per hour, is it worth 1 hour and 24 minutes to earn it? If you lose 25% of your pay to taxes, you'd probably have to work more, like 1 hour and 48 minutes to earn the book. Now this one, I would literally lose my mind, but I think it would save me money. Just think about like you're making 14 in an, or 15 or 20 or whatever you make in an hour. And then you're spending that. That's 1 hour of work that you just threw away on something that may not even matter to you in several months. I think that one is a pretty good hack because now it becomes painful to buy something. Now you're going to think twice about buying that $25 whatever tennis shoes when you're only making $8.50. It's going to hurt. That's like almost 2 hours of work. So I think that is a pretty good hack if you're that type that likes to guilt trip yourself into savings. Right now I'm working 2 jobs. That's why I'm very, very tired. Running an entire store by myself, my friend's store, and then going to that other job and being on my feet. And I'm just like, dang, if that whole experience is making me not want to spend anything. Because I'm like, I haven't done this just to spend this money and suffer, you know. Hold on to my freaking pennies. Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is be a savvy saver. And the hack that I have for this is choose 2 savings goals. Consider your goals in order of priority. Then choose just 2 to work on at the time. While it's great to have several goals, working toward all of them at once will slow down your progress for each one. Imagine thinking about your next vacation when your vacation fund only has 20, then 25, then 30 in it over several months because you have parceled out so many goals. That makes a lot of sense. I'm actually starting to do that with some of my debts. Instead of going to all the debts at one time, I have this thing called Debt List. There's 2 sheets. There's one called Debt List and one called Who I Owe. And on the debt list, I have everybody I am indebted to, every company I'm indebted to, from medical bills and school bills, which is a lot, how much I completely owe them, the total amount, how much I can pay. The next page, and this is in my savings challenge binder, the next page is called Who I Owe. And the companies that I write down what their name is, when the account was open, how much I owe, their address, their phone number, and any account information I have related to them. So if it's a PIN number, I go into the little system and type in blah, 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 blah. For example, I owe one person for a medical bill $1,447. And this is from 2019. And it says, I can only, no, hold up, wrong one. One person I owe one company I owe $190. And this is from when I was very, very sick. It was a medical bill. And I put in my notes, you can only pay $50 minimum if you're paying one time. Other companies that I owe, I can pay like $5, $12, blah, 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 blah. So make sure that you know where your money is going, especially if it is debt. Write down your account numbers, write down when it's open. That way you won't get scammed by some type of scammer. The next thing, hack 54, get cash back. Even if you plan ahead for times when you need to have cash on hand, sometimes those cash-only moments crop up. So instead of going to the ATM, you can get cash back at the checkout, which is good. But how I get cash back, a reimbursement, is whenever I'm online. So my computer, if I'm shopping online, I have all my browser extensions, like they'll all pop up at one time. I have Rakuten, I have Retail Me Not, I have Honey, and Microsoft Edge, Ibotta, and Nielsen, whatever they're called, and maybe 2 other people that I can't remember. And I had one coupon where I was buying a book and the browser extension gave me 90 cents off of my book. Also, I have apps on my phone for cashback. So for example, sometimes I'm late to work or I'm running late to work. I catch the bus. It takes, for my main job, it takes me basically 2 hours by bus to get to my job, to open the store and run the store for 10 hours a day. Oh no, 9 hours a day. I will catch a bus, catch a train, walk down a hill, catch a bus, catch the train, walk to the bus again, be on that bus for 30 minutes, and then sometimes I miss a bus and I have to catch LYFT. And I'm tired of catching LYFT and not getting paid back. So I figured out how to get paid through LYFT. And if you take Uber, you can also use it. It's this app called Freebird. And Freebird does give you cash back. You get points, so it builds up. And I know that they will give you your money, but it's not that much, but at least you're getting paid back something. I got $30 from them one time. I also have another app on my phone, which is Fetch. And whenever I have a receipt, I take a picture and scan the receipt so that I can get points that can change into gift cards for Fetch. So everywhere, I'm going to get my money back in some way, shape, or form. Hack number 73, turn down the heat. Right now, it's about 75 degrees because 60 degrees is too cold for me. My perfect temperature is 80 degrees because I get cold. Turn down the heat. You may enjoy a long hot shower, but you can probably survive with that water temperature just a few degrees cooler, right? Water heater manufacturers often set the temperature to 140, which is far hotter than the average household needs. By turning your hot water heater thermostat down to 120 degrees Fahrenheit, you could save up to 10% on your energy bill. Hack number 76, use ceiling fans strategically. An easy way to save money might be right above your head. It's your ceiling fan. Ceiling fans don't warm or cool a space. They move the air to make you feel warmer or cooler. A ceiling fan costs about a penny per hour to run, according to Angie's List. So if you want the room to feel cooler, make sure the blades are turning counterclockwise to move the cool air down towards you. To feel warmer, make sure the blades are turning clockwise to draw cool air up and bring warm air down towards your skin. I think that's pretty cool. So if you're into that, you can save money that way. Hack number 78, and I just wanted to mention this because this is a book review channel. It says, stop buying books. I'm never going to stop buying books. Okay. You can get them at the library. It's just like, borrow the book that you would see on Amazon at the library. And I have mine backwards. If I see a book at the library that I feel I need in my collection, I will just get it. But I won't get it off of Amazon. I'll get it off of ThriftBooks. I get it off of ThriftBooks because I get rewards points, and that can add up to a free book. So even though the book on ThriftBooks might be either the same price or cheaper or whatever with Amazon's price, with Amazon I don't get the opportunity to get a free book. Whereas with ThriftBooks, I have an opportunity, and there's multiple ways that I can add points. So that is how I save money on books. Also, going to the thrift store, I'll get 25 cents for a book. I just love it all. I'm sorry I keep yawning. I really wanted to make this video because I have a busy day, and I wanted to get it out of the way. So, chapter 4. Chapter 4 is make more money. And for some reason, I only could connect to one thing that was different from everything else. And it was start a class action suit. What do customers get when big companies do them wrong? Sometimes a lot of money. So you might be able to be involved in a top class action lawsuit and not even know. I'm sure I could be in one because the apartment that my mother and I used to live in, they had some mold that had caused cancer in some of our neighbors. And the neighbors, this was, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 10, the neighbors got all together and they signed a sheet and they were going to sue the apartment complex. And the apartment complex said that they're going to do that, they're going to evict them. But these people, I think they won their case and got money. So you might be in something, or have you used this product and it's affected you in this way? You might have been sick from a product that you didn't even know you were freaking sick from, or some type of medicine or whatnot. So there might be money for you to alleviate your suffering. Chapter 5, which is Chapter 5. No. Is it Chapter 5? Yeah. Plan for the future. Go on a money date. Couples can choose to manage their finances in a variety of ways, but whichever you choose, there's one necessary requirement. You need to communicate. You might choose to go on a money date with your partner, and on these dates, you just talk about money. Like, you can have a monthly, quarterly, weekly, whatever, to figure out where your money is going. Like, what plans do you both have for your money? And I thought that was really, really neat because I never really had that. Like, I've had exes in the past, and only one was very, very good with his money. And that was my 6-year ex. I was just all over the place. I hadn't figured out money yet. But him, he was very, very good with his money. He was very financially savvy. His whole life was money. So, like, he was very good at money. But we never talked about finances. But after him, I did have some other exes. And one thing I have in common with every single person I have dated is I never put them on my lease. I never got an account with them. I never did anything like mix my money with them because at a certain point, I just didn't trust anyone. I know that's kind of sad, but after the longest relationship, I told myself I'm not going to mix any dude up with my money, with my finances. They're not going on my lease. Even if they live in my house, I'm not doing any of that. However, when you become, married or something, or in a long-term relationship, you have children together, stuff like that changes. Like, you can have your own accounts, but it's also good to have, joint accounts sometimes. Talk about money. Where is it going? A lot of relationships end from money. Most of people's arguments, money. You can have a perfectly healthy relationship, but if you're in this struggle up thing, your relationship is going to take a couple of hits because you're both worried and frantic about money. And I learned that the hard way with a lot of my relationships. Yeah. So right now, currently, I don't have a boyfriend, but I am talking to the guy that I like in another state. And I'm encouraging him to do savings challenges with me. So it's a start. Sometimes you don't even have to have a relationship to do that. You can even do that with your family. Have a family fund. Talk about your family. Talk to your family about money. Don't be afraid. Because sometimes they can actually help you. They can guide you. Give you some advice. The next thing, I already said that. It was a merge with caution. I'm going to continue on this. If you are just in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, I wouldn't merge the money. Because you never know what's going to happen. They can be temporary. They can, all of that. But having joint accounts, and it gets kind of messy when it's not I'm legally tied with you by marriage or a child. I would be very wary. I've known a lot of people who have had their finances messed up. Mostly the women that I know have had their finances messed up because they invested in the wrong guy, or the guy took their credit card or something, or tore down their business. If there was a woman, and this was through somebody I knew, there was a person I knew who knew a woman who had a business that was an $8 million daycare, and her husband basically took it and destroyed it, her business. So always be careful who you merge with, whether it's a friend, whether it's a relative. Watch your finances and guard them with all of your might, because finance is power. Wed wisely. Can you guess how much a wedding costs in the United States? The average is about $30,000, with weddings in pricey places like New York City. And she talks about a few ideas for reducing the cost of your reception without sacrificing for fun. You can get married in an off-season. You can consider a venue that has everything you need on site. Host a wedding brunch or lunch instead of the pricier dinner meal. You can skip the booze. You can skip spending on chair covers. And me personally, I don't want a $30,000 wedding. One of the reasons I'm trying to learn how to sew right now is so I can sew my own wedding dress, because I will be nabbit if I spend $1,000 on a dress. I don't even want to look my clothes. I don't even want to spend $25 on clothes. I don't even want to spend $15. Now I'll try to spend more, but a wedding dress that you only wear one time. I know it's a once-in-a-lifetime event, but don't break the bank. The money, $30,000, that's literally a down payment for a house or mortgage for a house. Instead of having all of this outlandish money at your wedding? Why don't you have people give you money on your wedding that you can use for your future? Why don't you, instead of hiring, hold on, instead of hiring, like, unless you know somebody, instead of hiring all these fancy caterers, why don't you cook something, like, have a potluck wedding? I don't know. That's just me personally. I actually, when I have a wedding, I do not want to spend even, honestly, I don't even want to spend $500 because I'm going to be married to you for the rest of my life. I want it to be personal. I want a lot of handmade things. I want a lot of just authentic, raw things. I know it could be a cheap wedding, but I'm more concerned about our financial future. So, yeah, that's me personally. Just ask yourself, who am I doing it for? Who am I trying to impress? A lot of the stuff we do to impress other people that aren't really concerned. Take that $30,000 and put it into your savings so you won't be arguing about money in the future. My teacher, she's still married. She got married in a dingy dress in the courthouse and there was nobody there. There was just her and her husband, and they have been married for almost 40 years. It's really where your heart is. It's not the wedding. It's the marriage. Let's see. Hack 219. Try not to make this too long because I'm getting so sleepy. Hack 219. Save for graduate school. Now this one I did not know because I am interested in graduate school. Did you know that you can benefit from a 529 plan even if you don't have children? You can use it to save for your own education, whether it's graduate school, continuing education courses, or a career change that requires additional training. I did not know this. In all these years, I've been wanting to get like a 529 plan for if I have children, and I could have been using it for myself. Contributions to 529 savings accounts are exempt from federal taxes. Every state offers at least one option for this type of savings account. If you know you're going back to school at some point, saving with this type of tax advantage savings accounts can help you start to plan for those nerve-wracking tuition costs. But beware, if you withdraw these funds for a use that's not educational, you'll have to pay a 10% federal tax penalty, which kind of sucks. Chapter 6. Protect your money. And I wrote down hack 269. Talk to your parents about their money. I'm an only child. I don't know anything about my mother's money. I think I may start talking to her about money, like what does she want me to do with it? How does she want me to handle it? I'm going to make her get life insurance, and I'm going to get life insurance on myself. That way, God forbid, if something happens to me, my mother will be okay. She'll have money. I'm the only child. I'm my mother's only child, and I was my father's only child. So her having a lump sum if something happens to me, that'd be great for her. And if she dies, I want to get a lump sum. But I don't want my mom to die. But when my father died, he was in the process of getting money or getting his forms together. I didn't know this until after his death, but apparently he was trying to get an apartment and live with me. I didn't know that because we weren't communicating. I didn't know where he was. And he was trying to get like some type of benefits and different things, like get his finances together. But he died before he could get all the paperwork done. And I'm more like, if something, God forbid, knock on wood, happens to me, and I have life insurance, It'll be enough for my mother to survive off on, to live off on, because she's like in her 60s now. So it will probably be good. She'll have her medical expenses covered. She'll have her rent and stuff covered. And she'll be okay. She can pay, invested in her different businesses and all of those different things. Now, if my dad had life insurance and left it to me, some people, when they get life insurance, they're like, I'm going to spend it. No, my goal would have been invest that money to get land for my family, make sure everybody's taken care of. That's my whole thing, because, money is temporary. I just want to make sure everybody's okay. I want my relatives to have land. I want my little baby cousins to have like some type of fortune or something. I don't know. So it's always good to talk to your parents about what's happening with the money. That's why a lot of families, they have arguments at the end of near their parents' life. They'll be like, I'm getting the house. No, I'm getting the house. Like, ask your parent when they're in their right mind what they want done with things. Just ask. Get all their finances in order. There's an author, Lydia Douglas, and I'm going to put her books in the description box. She has 2 books that I would really suggest for you. One is called Grieving God's Way, and it's all about like healing from her husband's death. And I want to say in that book, and then What Will Your Legacy Be? One of those 2 books talks about placing together a financial plan for if something happens to you. Before her husband died, and she didn't know he was going to die, they got all their finances together, all their passwords, everything. Everything was paid for, both of their funerals, everything. And so when he died, everything went smoothly. The funeral was paid for. All of his financial things were in order. It wasn't a headache to sort through all of these papers because everything was laid out. So just think about it. 274. Take an inventory. When you buy renters or homeowners insurance, tucking your policy into a file folder and into a drawer isn't enough. So she suggests making inventories of all of your things. I have things. Actually, the only thing I have inventoried in my apartment are my books. All of my books are in an inventory. I still have maybe 200 or 300 books in Hawaii. I have about 200 or 300 books in the storage. And in this apartment, I have about 500 books. I also have some in my mother's house. I have original paintings of my artwork in the back. I have my father's urn. I have like machinery, equipment, all of these tools that I use to make art, clothing, bedding. Like I have a lot of stuff. And God forbid if something happens and something burns to the ground, I can get payment for that because I have it all inventoried. I have my renter's insurance. Sometimes people do not take that into account because they think everything's going to be fine. But then all of a sudden a natural disaster happens. Your fire, some catch on fire, your house burns down. Like you don't know what the universe holds. Hopefully it won't happen to you. But to some people it does. So it's important to just keep track. Back up everything. Back up photographs, scan them. Act as if you're never going to see those things again. And try to make duplicate copies and insure things while you still have the chance to insure them. And number 270, was it 271? Think about long-term care plans for yourself. And the 270 is think about long-term care plans for your parents. But this is my last thing that I'm going to do. Thinking about your future. When you're young, a lot of people, unless they're not very smart, they don't think about their future. They don't think about like, how much money can I actually live on? What if something happens to my health? Will I be able to afford something? $1,000 for an emergency savings is not enough. $5,000, I think that would be enough. Because $1,000, something happens to your car, that's might be over $1,000. Something happens to your teeth, like my teeth got broke. This broke off. This broke off. That each tooth to replace it, unless I grow it back, which I'm working on, is like literally dental implant. It's like $3,000 or more, and I'm just gonna turn to Mary Baker Eddy's methods and see if I can regenerate a whole tooth back. So yeah, anything can happen in life, and just prepare. It's better to be overly prepared than to be kicking yourself when you're 65 years old, like, or whatever retirement age is. That's why in the book review I mentioned before about Benjamin Banneker, his father bought them land because his father was thinking ahead of time. He knew that Benjamin Banneker was a black man in the United States. Or, well, it wasn't the United States in that case. He was a black man in the United States. He needed some ownership because he may not be able to get a job because people would be racist. So he just wanted him to have a home to live in. At least a home to live in. At least some plot of land where he could grow his food and nourish himself and meet his physical needs. Think about that. Oversave if you have to oversave. Invest in the healthy things that like keep your health intact now, because at the end of your life, your actual wealth is your physical health. Your physical, mental, and spiritual health is your actual wealth near the end of your life. So that is all I have to say for now, everyone. Thank you for watching this video. I apologize if it was too long and if I yawned. But I really, really want you to be financially savvy. And I want you to join with me on this financial journey next year. I'm going to start recording my financial journey next year, as well as my health journey for this channel. And soon after, I'm going to be doing some more videos on basically holiday related. Now look forward to a video around December 8th. It will be about John Lennon, and John Lennon was assassinated December 8th, 1980. So I'm going to be doing a video in remembrance of him. So talk to you all later, everyone. My little reading buddy says goodbye. She's like, goodbye, goodbye. And see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.